Guys, it's finally here. After 4 years, it's finally here. This is crazy. What's up, guys? My name is Aaron, and today I'm going to be reviewing Blonde. This is the second studio album by Frank Ocean. He doesn't consider Endless to be a studio album, even though I feel like that album is really great. He doesn't consider it, so this is his second studio album. Frank Ocean is one of my favorite artists out right now. He's just really unique, really personal. I like his perspective into life, and I like how he touches on societal issues and stuff like that, and I feel like his music is really deep, really catchy, and kind of unique, the actual production of it and stuff. He's somebody that I've always looked up to, and I feel like he's like kind of like a role model for me, I guess. I feel like he really inspires me to do better, and I feel like his voice has been missing for 4 years, and I kind of missed that. So having two albums in the span of a weekend is just kind of crazy, and it's a really good gift, kind of. And I feel like this album for sure is a contender for album of the year, for sure. It's really great. To me, this album is a little bit more in the vein of traditional Frank Ocean music as opposed to Endless, which I felt was a lot more experimental. There's not as many upbeat songs on this as Channel Orange, but the songs are still really emotional, really catchy, kind of unique, but they do have that kind of immediacy that Frank Ocean songs have. But I feel like this album, yeah, is definitely a little bit more slower than the last one. And I feel like he kind of experiments with different genres and stuff like that. Like, I feel like with this one, he experiments with dream pop. I like Beach House, and I like that as well. Ivy, which is definitely like my favorite track on this album to me. It really has like a beachy soft rock vibe, kind of like Beach House, with the kind of effect that's on that guitar, the barely audible bass line. It's very minimalistic but very immersive. Like, you're taking into this world whenever you listen to that track, and I really like the atmosphere of that track. Nikes, to me, is like the most Frank Ocean-y song on this album, if that makes sense. Like, it has his unique style and stuff. The organ that plays on it, the simple drums that kind of plod around, the hazing synth on that track, just the kind of lethargicness of it. It really does feel like Frank Ocean. It has that kind of cool hip-hop vibe to it, and it has like a unique vibe to it as well. It's kind of weird to explain, but once you hear Nike's The Beat, it really does sound like a Frank Ocean song. It's definitely the most Frank Ocean-y song on this album. Nights, I feel like this is the most radio-friendly song that's on this album. The really crunchy guitar riff, I feel like that riff is really great. I really like listening to that guitar. The very simple drum and the overall haziness of it, the first half of it really sounds really nostalgic. It kind of reminds me of like you're like hanging out with friends, like kind of driving around the neighborhood or kind of driving around your town at night. But then like the second half kind of goes to this darker, kind of like more Drake and 40 like atmosphere with kind of muted instrumentation and stuff like that, like how 40 produces his music and stuff. And I do like that kind of shift in tone and stuff, and it kind of fits with the mood that the song goes to in the second half. White Ferrari, it starts off really ambient with just a synth, and then it kind of goes into a good acoustic guitar as well. I like how that track is kind of laid out. I love how creative he is with his music, like kind of experimenting with different genres and stuff like that, and not just doing the typical R&B thing, but he still manages to have like a really good ear for music and has a good ear for like knowing what people will respond to and what people will like. I feel like the production on this was really great. In his vocal performance, he sounds really great as always. He sounds really impassioned and really emotional and really like vulnerable on these tracks. Ivy, he sounds so like lovelorn and kind of passionate as he sings about his first love, and then on the song, at the end of the song, he goes into this like very effortlessly high falsetto. Like, it sounds so good, like emotional whenever he goes into that. Nike, I love the pitched up effect on his voice. It really sounds like a chipmunk, but I really like that. And then that kind of pitched up effect kind of fits with the subject matter of that song, that how people distance themselves by kind of being attached to materialistic things, and I feel like his pitch up effect really worked for that track. Solo, he also sounds really disconnected on the verses of that track, but then he sounds really impassionate in the chorus. It does fit with the kind of message that is on that song. I feel like his singing is very emotional and very like great as well on this album. I feel like he didn't miss a step or anything like that. I feel like he might be a little bit overrated with his vocal performances, but I feel like it's very strong still. And his themes and lyrics, this is what you go to a Frank Ocean album for. You go to kind of get a peek into his life. He touches up on stuff like society, his relationships, and it's really interesting to get a look into his life. Nikes, he talks about how people are just so consumed with materialistic things like having the right pair of shoes or the right nice clothes and stuff like that. I also like the line "R.I.P. Trayvon." That nigga looked just like me. It kind of resonated with me because I saw the picture of him with the hoodie on in support of Trayvon, and kind of his feelings about the whole police situation in the United States right now. It kind of resonated with me because I guess that could have been me too. I don't know. I just like that line in that track. Self-control is really about Frank Ocean's impulses to be with this person that he has a crush on. He really wants to make love to this person, but he's trying to bypass, like, trying to get to know them, even though he knows that it's probably best, try to get at least to know them. But he just really wants to make love to this person. It's really, I guess, kind of sad, I guess. Solo, he's talking about how he feels alone on Earth, like how he feels that all this bad stuff is happening and stuff like that, and he just wants to be in heaven where nothing really bad happens. He's very personal, very deep, and very introspective. You really get a good sense into who he is as a person, and I do love getting an update on his personal state and stuff like that. And I actually feel like the interludes on this album actually contributed to the album in a positive way. Be Yourself is really heartfelt and really kind of emotional. It's about his mom talking to Frank Ocean, talking about like how he should try to avoid people that are doing bad things in life, that aren't really doing anything. Stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol, and just focus on being the best person that he can be, and just focus on his goals and his dreams. And I feel like it was really nice to hear that in this album. I feel like it was really cool to hear his mom kind of speak to him and stuff like that, and kind of get a more personal connection to him as a person through his mom. Facebook Story, it touches on the things that he kind of touched on James Blake album, the last album that he kind of worked with him on. It's talking about like the reliances on technology and social media when you're in a relationship with somebody. It has this guy kind of talking about how she wants to add him to Facebook, but he doesn't really want to do that because they're just talking right face to face, and because of that, she feels like he's cheating on her, and he's just kind of like, what does that mean? I'm still with you. I'm right here. So it's just really like a cool kind of update how that type of stuff can affect relationships, and even though it's kind of petty and stuff, it does have a big effect on how people view relationships right now. The interludes and kind of sketches on this actually had some type of meaning, and I did like that a lot. But overall, I did love the album a lot. It was very cool, very chill production. I do like that he kind of took influence from different genres, and he still kind of incorporated that and still made it accessible to people. Very strong performance, like vocally and stuff. I do like his rapping, and I like his singing, and I feel like he did a good job really showcasing his abilities and stuff. And it's always really emotional and passionate. I like his vocal performance regardless of whether he's rapping or singing. Very deep lyrics as well. Like, you really get into an update into his life and how he views society, relationships, technology, things like that. And it's really interesting to hear his perspective on that. And I feel like it actually had some meaningful interludes and sketches. Like, it wasn't just kind of throwaways to me. It actually kind of contributed to the overall themes and arc of the album. Overall, I would give it an A+. I thought this was a fantastic album. Definitely in my top 5 favorite albums of the year so far. I have to kind of hear this a little bit more to kind of get a more definitive how it would rank in my top 5, but it's definitely in there for me. I just have to kind of give it a little bit more time, and I feel like I'll get it. So what did you guys think? Did you like the album? Did you hate the album? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.